guys. Zabo is like the godfather, okay? We love him. He's been around for a long time now.
What's your name? What's your name? Zabo? Ooh, that's different.
crazy, bro. Zay, that's crazy, bro.
What's your name? What's your name? Zabo? Ooh, that's different. What's your name? What's your name? Zabo? Ooh, that's different.
For us guys, Zabo is like the godfather, okay? We love him. He's been around for a long time
What's your name?
That's it right there.
For us guys, Zabel was like the godfather, okay? We love him. He's been around for a long time now. Guys, Zabel was like the godfather, okay? We love him. He's been around for a long time now.
What's your name? Zabo? Ooh, that's different. What's your name? What's your name? Zabo? Ooh, that's different.
For us guys, Zabo is like the godfather, okay? We love him. He's been around for a long time now. guys, Zabo is like the godfather, okay? We love him. He's been around for a long time now.
What's your name? What's your name? Zabo? Ooh, that's different. What's your name? What's your name? Ooh, that's different.
Some was able to do it. For us, guys, Zabo is like the godfather, okay? We love him. He's been around for a long time now.
If I was able to get in the
What's your name? What's your name? Zabo? That's different. What's your name? What's your name? Zabo? Ooh, that's different. What's your name? What's your name? Zabo? That's different. What's your name? What's your name? Zabo? Ooh, that's different.
Hey, this is what I do almost every weekend, shopping real estate. You're probably not going to start with that deal.
It is Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th, December 13th, 2024. Are you all excited? I am getting excited. Closer to Christmas. Are you excited, Miss Sylvia?
Yes, I am. I'm excited.
Thank you all for being here today. Big Jeff is on the way. Thank you all for being here today with nothing but the truth. And we have the infamous Miss Sylvia in the house with us today. Nothing but the truth
Yes, yes, yes.
on this happy Friday the 13th. Coming to you live and in person. Let me post the link. Hold on a second, you guys. Let's see. Post it to my Facebook. So let's start with a couple of updates. We have some new motions that Shannon has filed in the case. Ms. Sylvia, would you like to start with the updates today?
Yes, I can. We are now aware of the lawsuit that Shannon has filed against the sheriff of Fulton County, Mr. Labatt. So him and another young man by the name of Hendricks, they filed it against the cruel and unusual punishment inside that dungeon called Rice Street.
Yes, yes.
And next week is going to be a very, very busy week in Fulton County. You have the YSL second half. They're going to have their final plea motions, which is going to be with Judge Whitaker at 9 o'clock. Then you're going to have Mr. Kendricks, Yak Gotti Kendrick. He will be before Judge McBurney for bond motion for two of his cases. Originally, it was with Judge Whitaker, but now it's with Judge McBurney. And then his case is going to be heard at 9 o'clock. Then you have Mr. Shannon Stillwell Jackson. He is going before for the cases that he has against him. And he is going to be with Judge Belinda Edward. And that one is at 9:30. So it's going to be very, very busy next week.
Are they on the same day?
All of it's on the 17th. 17th. And different floors.
Different floors.
And different floors, yes.
Very, very busy. One that's
Very
that
busy.
strategically planned on purpose at the
Yes.
same time.
Same time.
Same
time. And all those judges do things on time.
Wow. So keep the remaining issues that are still lingering with the YSL. That we you guys already know that the guys have not received fair treatment with these cases. You guys already know that Yak Gotti is still being detained and being charged with the fight. So these guys are still having to go and still pretty much still fight for their freedom. So we still wish them luck. We wish that this new motion that Shannon has filed is granted in his favor. We do hope that they are successful in these new motions. We do know that Young Thug did file and did get a amendment to his probation terms, and now he's able to visit Atlanta a little bit more.
After 3 years.
Yeah, after 3 years of his probation. We'll see what his father has to say about that amendment in just a few minutes here.
And I wanted to bring up Christopher Eppinger. He was in before Judge Manning yesterday, and there was an appeal done on his case, and they overturned the appeal and brought it back down to the lower court. And the reason for that was they did not do a revocation until after his time was completed, so they had to make some correction on that. So he's serving a 45-year sentence. Originally they had it at 65.
So they changed his sentence. You don't have to.
They corrected it.
So they changed his sentence from 45 to 65.
No, from 65 to 45, because when the judge did a revocation in 2022 in April, he had given him 65 years. So now they corrected it. Now it's 45 years.
Wow. So they corrected it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so here we go. Well, I guess the 15 years does make a difference when you're in there, but still
That's a
seems
lot
like
of
a long
years.
time. 45 to 60 is still a excessive sentencing to me. I just hope something is done because it just seems like Georgia just well known for excessive sentencing. Just like I just saw in the recent news, it was this case that I saw where this guy, and I'm going to pull it up in just a second. It's the guy that jumped over the bench and he attacked the judge, and he
How much time did he get?
It's a black guy, and he and I'll tell you his name in just a minute here. He jumped over the bench and he attacked the judge, and I think she came back and sentenced him to like 45 years. But he was explaining to the judge that he had a history of mental health issues, and it's almost like that was disregarded. And to me, that's the pattern when it comes to black and brown people that have mental health issues. That's totally, to me, my background, and I've worked in the court. I'm a certified guardian at Lightnum. And to me, when it comes to black and brown people, from my background and my experience, and also working for the Department of Veteran Affairs, when it comes to black and brown people, their mental health issues and their veteran status, in my opinion, in my experience, is totally disregarded. And they are not often offered accountability courts as people that are not black and brown. And that's just my experience and my background. And so this guy was explaining to the judge that he apologized, and he was apologetic for his behavior in the previous hearing where he did charge at the judge. And pretty much she just disregarded that and threw the book at him. She gave him like 45 years. And she, again, she totally disregarded the fact that he had a history of mental health. Now, I'm sure people do use that as an excuse, as,
But they know the difference.
right. And you can look at the history.
Yeah, they know the
you know what I'm saying? You can go back, and if you have a person and you can substantiate there is a pattern and there is a previous history, why can't you make an exception and put this person in an accountability court instead of throwing the book and throwing away the key like they often do when it comes to black and brown people? And I'm sick of that.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. And that's what happened to these veterans as well when it comes to black and brown people. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Hey, everybody, how y'all doing? It's Big Jeff, and I finally made it in. And y'all know, as usual, I got a track record of being here when I get here.
It's all right. You hear us in one piece.
So better late than never.
Amen.
You're in one piece.
So we what y'all done discussed so far?
Gave an update of what YSL.
Yeah, what happened, and we talked about Young Thug's amendment to his probation. What do you think about that?
Well, the amendment on his probation, my thoughts on that is, I hope that he be very considerate of having the privilege to be able to come home and, be able to explore in his city. But we're still going to fight for him to be able to get rid of that type of sentencing. I'm really gonna try to fight hard as I can to get that sentence overturned. Along with other people. Because it's not a big issue to me You know, and I'm not saying that because that's my child. I'm saying that because no man should be barred from the place that he's born at.
Right.
You know, this is
should be
all
his
these
choice.
kids know. You know, yeah, he has traveled the world, he has this, but that's on a entertainment level. You know, let's think about what if he wasn't an entertainer? Would he have that privilege? Let's think about if he wasn't an entertainer, would they have demanded that he leave his city? What if he couldn't afford to leave his city? Would they still have gave him a sentencing like that? You know, let's consider that. You know, out of all the people in this case that took a plea, and all these people that are still going to court about these bogus charges on this bogus, you know, RICO, who else have been barred from their city? And not just on this RICO, on any cases
Well,
that's gang related, that they consider gang related.
they just did Kelvin Watts. He's barred from.
You know,
Atlanta.
so how is that? Now you barred Kevin Watts as far as what Miss Sylvia just said, you know, but that's not fair for him either. You know, I'm not just speaking on our behalf, I'm speaking on period. Any man that's from a city that he knows, you know, he knows only. This is the only place he know. How can you bar a person from a city just to try to prove a point for somebody who really doesn't care in the beginning, which is the people?
Yeah.
You know, just because you bar a man from a city doesn't mean crime gonna stop. It don't mean that, you know, the city gonna prosper from it. You know what I'm saying? These guys, you know, it's been crimes committed far worse than gang crimes, as y'all calling it. And the people weren't barred from the city. You got people who are serial killers, but they haven't been barred from their city. Let's make it make sense. What's the point we're proving to bar these kids from their city? You gonna pay for them to reside somewhere else? Who's gonna pay for them to reside somewhere else if they can't afford to do it themselves? You know, let's make certain things, we just gotta make it make sense, man. You know what I mean? We talking about a bogus RICO charge. We talking about a case that's been fraudulently prosecuted through the prosecution department in Fulton County. You talking about kids who have been violated rightfully. These kids' rights have been violated to the fullest. Let's do something about that. Let's do something about that. Let's make it make sense. Make it make sense to where these kids are so detrimental to the city of Atlanta, to the state of Georgia, to Fulton County, Georgia, to where they need to be barred from their city. First of all, let's not forget, you ain't convicted them on shit yet. You still haven't convicted them on anything. None of them. Whether it's a YSL case, a YFN case, or a GLB case, or an OEF case. You haven't convicted no one of a crime yet. So where do the bar come in at? What does this bar come in at? To where you can recommend that they be barred from their city when you haven't proven not one thing on a reasonable doubt or intentionally that they have committed a heinous crime. If you ask 25 people in every community that these guys are from or that they feel like they represent or they standing up for, however y'all want to put it, if you ask 25 people in that community how they feel about these situations, I guarantee you no one will agree to that. regardless. We have some people who have been convicted that was actually guilty of their crimes, but they wasn't barred. Let's make it make sense. What's the who's being satisfied for these kids to be barred from their city? Who's getting the satisfaction? The district attorney office? The district attorney? The people is not getting satisfaction from that. Having no one protested or having no one sent there in letters or whatever saying bar these guys from this city. We haven't seen a petition. I don't think that the city of Atlanta would even embrace or respect a petition, because we had a petition for these guys to be pulled up out of this RICO and it ain't never been spoke on. And the status of the petition was met. 75,000 signatures. Let's make it make sense. You know, so let's talk about barring the people that's in here violating the laws intentionally in front of the world, and nothing is being done about it. Let's talk about let's bar these prosecutors, these law enforcement witnesses that they have used on the RICO case. Let's get some of these people that they have brought in and force them to testify. Let's do something about that. Let's take these people, let's take an officer like Hamilton. Let's use Hamilton for example. He violated a young lady's rights because she wouldn't give him the time of day to date her. Why his ass ain't been barred from Atlanta? Why haven't he been released from his duty as an investigator? Why haven't we discussed this shit anymore since it happened? Let's talk about something that makes sense. Let's talk about something that really needs to be dealt with. Let's talk about let's discuss how our district attorney took an attorney that was from a private establishment, had his own private practice, that wasn't a employee of Fulton County, by no means necessary, and she paid him openly to be a lead prosecutor for Fulton County. That was illegal.
That's fast.
Why haven't she been disbarred? Why haven't she faced any kind of situations to where her job is being taken? She's being prosecuted for it, the whole 9 yards. She has committed more of a RICO than any one of these guys on this indictment she's trying to prosecute. And haven't gave us not one reason whatsoever as to why she did it. And she feels that she don't owe anybody an explanation on why she did it. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how Wade was able to take himself off the case, and the case supposedly is satisfied now. He wasn't supposed to have been on the case in the beginning. He was not an employee of Fulton County. He had his own private law firm. Everything that you cannot do to be acceptable to be a lead prosecutor for the county.
It happened.
It happened. And the only thing that happened in the defense area of it was that he took himself off the case. But what about her? She the one committed the crime, not him. She committed the crime. He just got the money. How come ain't nobody been made to get that damn money back? How come we haven't found out where that money actually came from? But we got a damn good idea. We got a good idea where it could have came from. You know, so let's talk about things that mean something. Let's talk about how they have wrongfully arrested people because of this case, because of the YSL case.
Yep.
You know, let's talk about that.
Right.
Let's talk about how you have went at Mr. Williams's family members and anybody that has any ties to his family or him, and arrested them and gave them these bogus ass charges just to try to put the pressure on him. So we can all sit back and try to wonder, why did he just all of a sudden take a plea deal? It could have been a lot of things that was on his mind, that was put on his mind to try to make him feel like if he take a plea deal, he may be helping somebody. Because he knows that the only person these people really want is him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let's call a spade a damn spade.
Absolutely.
And not, you know, so you know, we gotta. It's a lot of people that's being punished because of this case. Mm-hmm. Let's make that known to the public. Let's make that known to the world. You know, we got law enforcement officers who have sworn to protect and serve the communities that they supposed to protect and serve, who has committed felonies to try to solve a case and blame somebody for it.
Right.
They blaming anybody for whatever, because they know that if we put enough pressure on everybody, if we take a man and put him in a jail and hold him long enough, he'll do just what everybody else did. Take a plea deal. Knowing he's not guilty of shit they done charged him with.
Right.
We got Monte Kendricks. The YSL case ended with a not guilty verdict on Monte Kendricks and Mr. Shannon Stillwell, a.k.a. Jackson. And as soon as these fellas got to the jail, you know, Mr. Stillwell had an open case that had been dealt with. It had been dealt with. There's no way you can make me believe that nobody knew this. Mr. Monte Kendricks had a case, well, didn't have a case, and we're going to discuss that now. He had a case that they supposedly held him responsible for that happened in the jail. This is an in-house case at the Fulton County Jail. This man was charged the day of him being found not guilty
After his verdict.
with a charge of aggravated assault, aggravated battery, and some other bullshit that was considered an in-house charge. But the shit happened in June. But here's a man sitting in a courtroom 2 days after being stabbed in his damn head.
In your custody.
In the sheriff department's custody.
Fulton County's custody.
And we haven't heard none about somebody being charged with it. And sad but true, the only excuse that the damn sheriff can come up with to make it look like it's really a charge to stick on him is that they say that he was the aggressor. He's in fucking jail, fool. He's in jail. He's in a jail to where the COs in the jail are responsible for 99% of the crimes that's being committed in the damn jail, but you give him the charge. You give him the charge. The only way two men can be out in the pod at the same time, somebody got to open the damn door.
They can't open it themselves.
Somebody has to open the door. For the rule books of the jail, when an officer goes in to do a check on the inmates, meaning a count, they do a thing called a count. The inmates are already locked in. For those of you who don't know that, the inmates are already locked into their rooms. The officers has to go door to door to do their count. They actually have to look through the window. If it's 2 inmates supposed to be in that room, they supposed to look through that window and verify that it's 2 inmates in that room. After they verify that it's 2 inmates in that room, they supposed to check the door by pulling it. This is a procedure that's done at the jail during count time. So there's no way you should be able to tell somebody they did a slip on the door. You can't slip on the door if it's been checked to make sure it's locked. Let's make it make sense. These are standard procedures that's supposedly being done at the jail. All COs that monitors the floor that they work on supposed to physically go to these doors and pull those doors to make sure that they are locked and secured.
Exactly. And because of their insufficient in their job duties,
Thank you. And it's for their protection, supposedly.
the inmates are being charged.
But you got 2 inmates that's outside of their cells that winds up in an altercation. But let's think about this here, people. We're going to make this shit make sense. And these are 2 inmates who supposed to be each other's enemy. Who knows that? Who knows that? How is it that obvious that some kind of way 2 inmates who supposed to be in 2 different gangs, who supposed to have 2 different things going on with each other that's called beefs, wound up out of the cell at the same time?
Conveniently, right?
You know, that make it make sense. Who being paid to let this shit happen?
Who's the custodians?
You know, you got a CO that sits on a tower who's supposed to be monitoring the cell block. There's no way you can tell me that it's a on duty CO, turnkey as they call them, and he don't see a man come outside of a damn cell block and there's nobody else outside.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, another door comes open. And another inmate is outside the cell. And just so happened by coincidence, it's 2 inmates that's supposed to be having an issue with each other. Let's make that shit make sense. We got to make it make sense.
But you let a whole man die from bed bugs and then check on him for months.
Thank you. So that means somebody ain't checking these doors, I guess. That means not only is their excuse is we short on help, is that the jail is being ran by its damn self. Evidently. If nobody can look on the camera and see 2 people out of their cells, and before something happens, someone has opened the doors and went in the cells and demanded that they go back into their rooms. but somebody wind up getting into a fight, somebody wind up getting stabbed, somebody wind up getting hurt bad enough to die or die. See, these are the things we got to bring out, because that's the shit they ain't going to tell y'all. They're not going to tell y'all the procedures. There's no way two inmates can wind up outside of their cells at the same time if the doors have been checked.
And the excuse that Labat is saying right now is, well, I have complained about the funding. The funding does not have anything to do with the incorrect, the staffing and the inadequate supervision that you're not providing. That has nothing to do with the funding.
And if the funding got something to do with it, stop putting it in your damn pocket.
Who?
Use it for what they get to you to use it at.
Church.
We don't need all them regular ass cars. We don't need all these new uniforms. Half of these officers gonna wear for 6 months and then they're gonna be too damn big to get on. Cause they ain't doing nothing. We don't need all that. Spend the money where they get to you to spend it at. We know everybody like nice things, but don't make the taxpayer pay for it. You work every day. Pay for your own shit. Pay for your own. Save your money and pay for it. Because you'll stand in the jail and tell the guys in the jail, as you trying to give them consultations and say, well, I work and I save my money and I save your money. Stop stealing. Stop stealing. Y'all stop stealing these damn grants. Do something with the grant money that's supposed to be done with it. I guarantee you, if we look at any of this paperwork that you all have turned in to explain what you all were gonna do with that grant money, 3 things on the whole grant might be done been done, and when none of it to benefit the people or the programs that y'all say y'all needed it for.
Well, as of right now, Ms. Fonnie said she still does not have to answer to Mr. Jack Smith. As of right now, she still is not answering. So I don't think that's going to be answered until Trump get in office.
So guess what needs to happen? Guess what needs to happen to her too? She's breaking the law. Prosecute her. Let's do the first thing that they supposed to do by her going against the law. Impeach her ass. Get her out the office. If you get out the office, then that should make your subpoena really valuable. Cause now she's a civilian again.
Yeah, she's acting like these documents either do not exist or she's exempt from having to disclose it under the Georgia law. That's her excuse, and that's what she's sticking with right now.
Ain't that so? So everybody that's in jail, everybody that's waiting to go to court, everybody that's sitting home with a court, that's done bonded out of jail or in the charges or whatever, and they send you a subpoena in the mail, send a subpoena back and say, I'm not answering.
Somebody in the chat, CMT2013SS said, because she RICO.
Shit, give her a RICO charge. It'll stick more on them than it would everybody they trying to put them on. Because they are really racketeering.
You darn right, Mimi.
And conspiracy.
Mimi Misia. She said, because Ashley Merchant ain't letting up. You darn right.
And I'm with her. I'm with her and Trump. Did anybody hear about President Biden gave a lot of guys who's on probation or parole clemency?
Yeah.
So so he woke up to something, didn't he?
He gave a little something.
Yeah, so we appreciate that.
We do.
We appreciate you doing that, President Biden.
Shout out Biden.
Much shout out to President Biden.
Yeah.
Even though he's on his way out the office,
Yeah,
he did
every little bit help.
He did some justification. Yeah, he did some justice. What we need to do as a people of the United States, and I'm saying this on terms of everybody in the United States, We need to start going. We need to come together as a country, as citizens of our country. And we need to try to make our government put in a program for the judicial system to every so often, many of years, do something like that.
Exactly.
You know, and then we can this might can help some of this overcrowding in the prison system, overcrowding in the jail. You know, not just for the prison system, for the whole correctional institution
As a whole, right.
as a whole.
And also, it'll review some of the excessive sentencing that happened back in the day, you know?
Thank you. We gotta, as I said before, I'm gonna say it again tonight. If we're gonna get rid of the laws of the Confederacy, let's get rid of the laws. Let's not go take the General Lee and paint it to cover the flag on it. Let's not take the Confederacy flag and say, okay, we just gonna take it out of our society. And then we go knock down all these bullshitting statues and monuments that represent the Confederacy. And we still living up under the Confederacy law. I'd rather for them to deal away with the law and they can leave that other shit up. Don't nobody pay no attention anyway. Who read those statues? Who actually read them? Who actually see who that person is standing up there representing the Confederacy? Who do that? Let's get rid of the law. Let's go to a modern day law. We going to modern times. Let's go to a modern law. Upgrade our laws. Then we can understand things more. We're living in a city. We're living in a state. That, and this is Confederacy. We're living in a state that has never, I'm 58 years old. We're living in a state that has never, in my lifetime, been acknowledged as a gang-related state. But here we are, letting a district attorney who's from a gang-related state, who's been gang-affiliated with the Inglewood family of California, we have allowed her to become a district attorney in a state that we have never practiced gang law in, and inject a charge to sentence people in a state that we are not prepared to fight gang charges and indict people on it. Let's make it make sense. Anybody look in the white pages, blue pages, green pages, yellow pages, orange pages, purple pages, phone book, residential books, whatever. And I want you to call us in and show us that we have an attorney somewhere in the state of Georgia that practices gang law. It is a law for gangs. You do have lawyers who fight gang laws, but they're not here because we're not recognized as that type of state. Never have been. We don't know, our kids nor us don't know the first rule of forming a damn gang in Georgia. Let's make it make sense. And you witnessed this because we had gang investigators who actually sat on the witness stand and said, I don't recognize nobody in the YSL or the IF gang of Atlanta or the Inglewood family of Atlanta, or however you want to put it.
Exactly.
No other gang that we have tried to convict people or arrest people under, we don't see no gang traits whatsoever. Because where I'm from, as they quote, I'm going to quote Investigator Gator, where I'm from, our gangs, we don't do this.
But she was the expert.
You understand? You know, in this expert shit, this expert crap that we come up with this, I took a 40-hour course on gangs, and now I'm an expert. When gangs have been in society since the beginning of time. So you mean to tell me I can take a 40-hour course and now I'm an expert on gangs? Let's make it make sense. Hey man, you can't take a 40-hour course in culinary art and be professional. Mm-hmm. But in gangs you can.
You can, right.
That's because you watch The Boys in the Hood.
You know, let's make it make sense.
It's almost comical.
You know,
you have to laugh
so
to keep from crying, for real.
We gotta make things make sense, man. You got a woman, Marissa Viverito. Mm-hmm. She has taught, you know, let her tell it. She has taught all type of criminal gang laws, criminal gang classes, criminal classes on this, criminal classes on that. But she been fired from 4 different damn organizations in law enforcement. So what make her an expert? Who giving her all this rank, man?
Fulton County.
Who gave her all this rank? She became certified. She became post-certified September the 5th, 2022. I guess to be an investigator or be put in the district attorney office. So why was she the leader of a task force on May the 9th, 2022? You know, as Ryan Cameron used to say, the kind of shit that makes you say, How was that possible? How was that possible for her to be the lead investigator on the YSL RICO, go to a man's house, do a improper search, illegal search on an arrest warrant that turned into a search warrant some kind of way? But she wasn't post-certified till September the 5th, 2022. What was she doing now? What was she doing? Why was she there? Why was she even on the premises? She was trespassing, more so than anything. And then stealing. You know, let's talk about some shit that gonna make sense with this case. You all talked about everything as evidence in this case, but the money y'all took out the house. Ain't nobody never asked a question. Love asked all them damn questions, but she ain't asked about none of that money.
She stayed clear of that intentionally.
They ain't asked about none of the money that they took out this man's house. Kind of shit make you say, But you got a woman sit on a witness stand and say, we took everything out the house of value but a damn watch that's worth more than her house. Really? So you were more interested in a couple of grams of marijuana but not $1 million watch? Let's make this shit make sense, man. And your alibi was, well, we turned the house back over to Mr. Williams and Mr. Garfield. Wasn't nothing in the motherfucker, so you should have turned it back over. We didn't search it. Y'all had everything. Wasn't nothing to look for. But one thing we did do, Miss Viverito, was we recorded it. How you like that? How you like that? I got video of it. How you like me now? I got video of how you all poured out a man's medication into a bag and charged Mr. Williams with the Georgia OCGS law. Really? You charge a man with another man's medication? I know y'all had to send it to the lab. I know, but one thing y'all did do that I appreciate y'all doing, y'all left all his medicine bottles on the counter. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? And you charge the owner of the house with a controlled substance law. Really?
Somebody's medication in the right bottle.
Really?
They did so much errors in this case.
You all was so much of a hurry to get out of that house, as you say, because it was a disturbance outside, which we still trying to find out what that disturbance was. Now you trying to get out of there because you were trying to get out of there with what you got. You all left in so much of a hurry, you even left the evidence kit there. All of those officers, no one realized we didn't have the evidence kit. Really? Let's make it make sense. Let's make it make sense. But enough for her. She gonna get her just due too. So now, these young men was found guilty. Yak Gotti was charged once he got back to the jail.
Not guilty. You said they were found guilty.
Well, not guilty. I'm sorry, Mr. Gotti. I'm sorry, Yak Gotti. I'm sorry, Shannon. Y'all, they was found not guilty. This man was taken back to the Fulton County Jail, where the sheriff gave him a charge. Mm-hmm. The sheriff charged him with something that happened in June. Let's make it make sense. In June? You can charge him to now. Let's make it make sense. Let that man go.
Let that man go.
This is an in-house charge. You all have let people out to try to hurt this man. This man has had to fight for his life several times in the jail, the whole 9 yards. No one else you have had in that jail has had to face these type of charges on getting out of jail. But it's more than one way to skin a cat. More than one way to skin a cat. We got to get these people out of office. Let's put together a petition to impeach Sheriff Labatt and DA Funny Willis and some of her people in the district attorney office, along with some other people in the sheriff department. Let's do it. Let's ask that a full investigation be done on all of these, with both of these agencies, to weed out the poison. Because it's some good people in these departments that really wants to do their job the right way, but they are forced to do it the wrong way because of the people who they are under. Let's put together a petition to impeach these people. Let's do that. I'm asking the citizens of Atlanta, Fulton County to come together as a people, and let's get these people out of these positions who don't deserve to be on them. So now we're gonna bring to the table for a minute, and we're gonna give the host,
Miss Tracy Brown.
Miss Tracy Brown, and Mrs. Hilton.
Hill.
Hill? Okay, Miss Hilton, not Hilton. Not Hilton, everybody. Miss Hill. We're going to give them the flow for a minute. We're going to give them just do, and let them talk to you all, and we'll end the show with them. So we'll be clocking out at 7 o'clock tonight, and we're gonna let Miss Hill and Miss.
So I'm going to give you a little bit of background of what they'll be talking about. So there have been some unfair housing situations going on in the Atlanta, Fulton County area where people's property have been deeded unjustly to investors, loan sharks, banks, where they just take people's properties off and up under them. Actually, I've been in that situation before, unfortunately, where I've had to fight for my property before, and actually recently, and a couple of times. And I'm very well familiar with this process and the actions that it takes and the hassle. So I wanted to bring Miss Brown on here, and actually when I met her, she didn't even know that I was even experienced in this situation that she's fighting for. She has a press conference that's coming up this weekend, and she's going to be explaining and talking to you guys more about what she's fighting for and how she's helping people to stay in their homes here in the city of Atlanta. So give her just a minute as she gets mic'd up, and she's going to, her and Miss Hill, they're going to talk about the initiatives and what they do in the city and how they help people save their homes. Miss Sylvia, we thank you for joining us today and all the help that you do on the show. We thank you, infamous Miss Sylvia. So we'll be introducing Miss Tracy Brown. She said you can call her Trey for short.
Yeah. How you doing? Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Would you like to say something?
Oh, I just wanted to introduce myself as well. I'm Ms. Hill, and I'm a resident of Fulton County.
So I'm Trey, and this is Ms. Hill, and we are organizing for justice in the Georgia and Greater Atlanta area, DeKalb, Fulton, Gwinnett, with Atlanta Unite for Fair Housing. Basically, we have had several people come to us that their homes have actually been stolen with deed theft, either through organizations like the Atlanta bankruptcy courts through the appointed trustees, or through a company called ACE Home Property Management, and there's another property called Celine Mortgage, as well as Susan's. They're a realtor company.
Mm-hmm.
The ACE is very interesting because you have like quite a few people who've actually taken out, their homes were free and clear. They've taken out like a second, and they actually paid off the loan.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you know, you have companies saying, "Oh, you owe us money." It's like, no, we don't owe you money.
Wow.
The home is paid off,
Mm-hmm.
and so they're actually going to courts, and the judges are siding with the companies,
Mm-hmm.
even though the people have proof that their homes
That
are
they paid off their home.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So it's an ongoing. It's a battle.
It's a battle. Yeah.
And so they're actually, and then you have some where marshals appear to be working off the clock.
Mm-hmm.
They're stalking them at their homes.
Mm-hmm.
All of these people have no court orders from any of the courts.
Wow.
So there's no orders, there's no court date, no writ. There's no order in place. So basically, the marshals are actually coming in their homes with guns and getting them out, doing false evictions, and that they're documenting it. They're not even documenting it as an eviction, and false foreclosures, and they're stealing their homes. They're stealing their homes and their equity, and the people are basically fighting them in court. We're reaching out to John Ossoff. He's over, what committee is John Ossoff over?
Yeah, one of the things that we found out was that one of our senators by the name of John Ossoff is actually part of the Judicial Committee for Banking, Finance, and anything that has to do with misconduct of the justice system. And we reached out to him because of that role. And to this day, we've basically been stalled and put off as if that's something that isn't his responsibility, which can't be true. So we are looking to various types of agencies to get assistance. And the reason why this is so important is because it's very evident that the people involved are helping these criminals to attack seniors, minorities, single women, veterans, people with disabilities. So they know that they're targeting our most vulnerable populations. And that is a pattern.
Right.
And it's not, it's not random, which is what, in the past they tried to make it sound like, and that's why it hadn't gotten a lot of attention until recent. So I even sat down and did an analysis with several homeowners. I accumulated a list of over 133 homeowners with over about 97 of them in Georgia alone. And of those 97, all except one is a minority.
Wow.
And then another 80% of them are seniors. And then about 70% of them are single women.
See? And you're absolutely right, because that's why I was a target. Because on my home, my grandfather, which he's like in his 80s, I was a target because he's my primary on my home. So if they think that, the primary person is over 80 and we can just come in and take his home, and no one will, he's old, he won't fight us, so that's what they thought, So we can just take this home and nobody's going to fight us, and until they know, they didn't know that they had a pit bull, that was going to go into court and fight them.
Exactly.
So they target who they'll go and get the deeds and the records, and if they see someone who they think is vulnerable, like you said, like an elderly person or someone who they think wouldn't have the knowledge or the resources to fight them back, they'll do a deed or a mortgage fraud.
And the thing that's really more egregious is, or I should say equally egregious, is these criminals actually appear in court and they admit to the crimes that they're involved in. They admit under oath that they are not, in fact, who they say they are.
Wow.
When they file the lawsuit. So they'll file the lawsuit, for example, saying that they're the owner or saying that they're the landlord. And then when they get to court, they tell the judge the truth. They say, oh, no, we're not the landlord. And the judge acts like they don't even hear that they've just perjured themselves. So the judge is rubber stamping these orders, or I should say these crimes, and that gets turned into sometimes a fake order.
Right.
Because the judge never really signs the order. There's a legal procedure that they have to follow to actually sign an order.
Wow.
When you look at the legal document and you examine that next to the actual statute,
Yeah.
it's not signed legally by a judge. They take it over to the marshals, and the marshals come out off duty,
No investigation.
no investigation, and or off the record, because it never appears on the docket that they were even there.
Well, wow.
And largely they are targeting minorities, and a lot of people are filing, if it's in, just say it's in the bankruptcy courts, they're filing
Wait.
pro se.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they just coming after them. Oh, you don't know anything.
You
You're
don't know
filing pro
anything.
se.
Yeah, they think like we're pretty much uneducated and don't know what to do or,
That's
or what
exactly
to
what
file.
it is. That's
Right.
exactly what it is. And it's like if you get an attorney, one
You can't afford it.
right, you can't
Right.
afford it, but the attorney isn't going to fight them the way that someone possibly is pro se and they have advocates helping them. The other issue that people are running into, there was a group of law students helping people, and the next thing you know, they're getting in trouble.
Right, with the bar.
They're getting
Disbarred, right?
Exactly. There was a group of attorneys that were helping, and they actually they were of color, and they all got disbarred. But we've noticed a pattern that when you report like a particular person to the bar of white, that they're not getting in trouble.
Right.
So it's a pattern that's going on in Georgia, and it's a circle. It's a circle, and it's time to put a stop to it, and people need to get justice. So we're having a press conference tomorrow, December the 14th at 2 p.m. At the Georgia State Capitol. And we welcome anyone to come and join us.
And what has been John Ossoff's response to the massive
It's been very interesting.
complaints
Yeah,
thus
so,
far?
It's an array of just responses that go from referring us to some type of consumer agency, or saying that there's nothing that he can do, but perhaps we can go to the feds, or not, excuse me, another agency, which is an FBI agency. But the thing that's really
Get an attorney.
Or get an attorney. That's the favorite one. Because what they're trying to do is brainwash us to make us think that this is a civil matter. And a civil matter would be like just between two individuals who are in a dispute over anything. That's typically what a civil matter is. But
it's a little bit more deeper than just a civil matter.
well, it's a crime. They're
It
crimes.
definitely is a crime.
And so, but if they can brainwash you to make you think that it's a civil matter, then
And you'll give up.
or you pursue it as a civil matter, and guess what? There are already laws in place that makes your case dismissible. They never even hear the case or the pieces of it that is related to a crime, because they automatically dismiss it. And see, most people don't understand that. But when you start talking about the crimes and laying them out, then all of a sudden it's not in their authority to do anything, when it's just the opposite. Whenever there's any type of crime, let's say if someone stole your car, you call the police, and then what happens? The police get involved and they investigate, and right? So you're going to tell me that if my car gets stolen, or my bike, if someone comes on my porch and steals my bike, I call the police. Yeah, it may take some time to get to it because it's a bike in terms of priority, but at the end of the day, a crime has been committed. Okay, and there is no difference. There's no distinction as to what they're trying to tell us is a jurisdictional or a legislative loophole. That's the new one, a legislative loophole.
And all of the judges will say they don't have jurisdiction, but yet they're dismissing or they're allowing the judges the trustee to foreclose, but then they're not doing orders. So it's really, but anyway, several people have filed complaints with the FTC, and what that does is they won't investigate unless it's like lots of people, and then you're actually supposed to contact your attorney general as well. And we're actually waiting for a respond back from
The Attorney General as well. Yeah.
And there's a couple others. There's a Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
Yeah, let me tell you about that. The CFPB, again, you got to be clear on what that means. The CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, does have some teeth to it when, in fact, they're A, willing to get involved, or B, they're not overwhelmed. But again, you have to be careful in how you pursue it, because if you, let's say, don't use the code word, you end up back in that same vicious cycle that it's a civil matter, or if you are in a lawsuit, they won't help you.
Got it.
So the thing is with the CFPB, remember the name is consumer, okay? But in this instance, you're not a consumer, you're a victim.
Right.
And if you're a victim, that means that these cases need to be investigated by law enforcement.
Right.
So if a police is telling you, or a sheriff or a marshal is telling you that your asset, which is a property over $5,000, is a civil matter, make that make sense.
Exactly.
It cannot ever be a civil matter.
Right.
And no one coming on your property without a warrant? Really? Where does that happen?
Exactly.
When they show up for these fake evictions, those orders are not signed. They have no reason to be on your property.
Right.
They have fake buyers. I mean, they've actually caught one with the police, and the police didn't even arrest them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not, I mean, this is not like isolated situations. There are other groups that we've also been talking with outside of Georgia. And so when you look at the profile, I admit it's not just Georgia, right? I get it. But you cannot tell me that these cases, which have been prosecuted by the DOJ as far back as 2012, when one white woman came forward and said, hey, they're filing fake documents on my property. One white woman came forward. She got $18 million and kept her house.
I saw that article. Tracy sent me that article because I'm trying to figure out how I can get 18. If they give me $1 million, I'll be satisfied.
Okay. She never left her house. They did not tell her, oh, go find 100 people. No, it was just
Before
her.
we can get involved.
It was just her and maybe 3 or 4 other homeowners. But at the end of the day, they probably sealed the case, so it's probably difficult for you to see it.
No, it's still open. Tracy sent it to me last night.
But you can see the story.
Yeah.
You get my point.
Yeah, it's a lot of violations. And see, that's the thing that our ancestors didn't know about.
Exactly.
And that's why I wanted you all to come on the show. I think that on us discussing things like this and having informational sessions and putting out the information to the public and having these discussions so that other people can be knowledgeable, and even like making like Facebook groups so that we can like discuss these issues and have outlets for people that may be experiencing the same issues to have a go-to to talk, have someone to talk to and can share their experiences as well, so that we all can come together and see how we can get some of these millions of dollars as well for these same violations. I think that would be beneficial because a lot of people are not homeowners, and it could be, it could be same issues. People could be afraid to step out and be homeowners because of these issues like
That's
this,
right. That's right.
you know.
Well, just like the gentleman that was here before talking about our ability to really embrace our power as citizens. I'm one of those people, I tell my clients, I do consulting sometimes, and I tell them, I said, don't call me if you want me to just listen to your problems. Don't call me. If you want something done, that's when you call me.
Right.
We need to be executing on these issues. So just like the gentleman that was here before, we have to be prepared to hold our politicians accountable. And if they're not doing their jobs, and this goes directly to, I'm not saying anything now that I haven't said to Senator Ossoff. You are not doing your job. And if you're not able to do anything as he's trying to, project,
Right.
then you don't need that job. I don't know where in America you can show up and not do your job and think that you can remain in that job. He's now supposedly supporting the removal of Nikema Williams. I don't want to get into anything political, but that's what the whole political environment is. I don't know the political landscape.
Oh, I hadn't heard that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, but here's the thing. No, what I'm saying, I'm not trying to hold Nikema up to any pedestal, because we have our issues with her as well. Because she's saying the same thing. There's nothing I can do. But my thing is, Senator Ossoff, if you're on that platform to get rid of Nikema, not from her position, but from the role that she had as leader in the political party, I guess, for the Democrats.
Right.
But whatever role it was, there's some responsibility that they're saying that she had, that she did not perform.
Right.
Correct? Whatever role she had, she did not perform. So now he understands the need for her to step down. Correct? We need to hold him accountable too.
At the same level.
At the same level.
In politics or anything else, if someone is accountable for somebody else's actions and they're not upholding it, then we need to be trying to get these people out.
Absolutely.
We need to get them out, man. If you're not going to do your job, why take it? Why take the job? You know what I mean? We all understand that politics can be dirty. It can be misleading. It can be biased. It can be one-sided. It can be anything that other than right. You know what I'm saying? So why should we keep accepting these people continuously and consistently being wrong?
We have a homeowner that is paying a second mortgage or a line of credit, and I apologize if I don't have the terminology correct, and paying rent at the same time.
Is that the one where the judge ordered them to pay rent on their property that they owned?
Yeah.
Outright?
So
They
they're
owned property
paying
outright.
they're paying on a loan on the property that they own. They're homeowners, they're paying their loan on the property that they own. And they're paying rent as a tenant in the same house.
Really?
On the same property.
That's what I'm saying.
And the judge is pulling them into off-the-record meetings, just like they did in the YSL case. Remember, the judge was removed for having the... The judge is having off-the-record meetings.
Ex parte meetings.
Ex parte
The
communication.
elected judge.
Yeah.
Telling them...
Glenville?
No. It's not Glenville. No. It's a different county.
Yeah.
Telling them that he wants them, he's recommending that they sign over their property to these scammers.
See?
Really?
This white attorney. Yeah, the judge wants them to sign over their property to a white attorney.
Wow.
See?
Off the record.
That's
They
what I'm
black?
saying. All kinds of
Right,
crooked
right.
stuff is happening.
The homeowner is black.
Yeah.
The attorney is white.
White, definitely. Well, they in cahoots.
Right, right. And they're an attorney in Atlanta.
That's right.
And we've encouraged the group to collectively report that attorney to the bar.
Good.
Yes.
And they can report the attorney as well. The people,
Right.
the homeowner,
Right.
they can report them as well. to
But
the
what's
bar.
more important, though, what we don't know,
Yeah,
that judge is supposed to report them.
yep. But you know,
If that judge has a responsibility
right.
to probably at least warn them
That's
of
right.
what they're doing,
You got to acknowledge.
but that judge has a responsibility to report them.
Wow.
He does.
But we don't know that in most cases, and they know we don't know that. Oh, yes, that judge has a responsibility of doing that.
We here now.
Exactly.
Get them the knowledge.
See, guys, this is why I wanted these educated ladies to come on here and share the knowledge, of what they're standing on and what they're educating. We encourage you all to come out to the press conference tomorrow. It's going to be at Georgia State Capitol Sidewalk. The address is 206 Washington Street, Atlanta, Georgia, 30334. It's going to be across from Central Presbyterian Church, and it will be at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's at the group is the Atlanta United for Fair Housing. The email is atlanta4fairhousing@gmail.com. So we would love for you all to come out at 2 o'clock tomorrow and support the housing. And you guys can email the email if you have any additional questions and any housing issues to join like-minded people. And we thank you guys for joining us in Nothing But the Truth. We are going to close today. Also, the Nigel Cullens, as I have on Nigel Cullens' shirt, Dr. Maya Cullens, Speller Cullens, his mother, will be having a Christmas dedication, a Christmas dinner and give back, a toy give back in his honor. It will be this Sunday at 283 Grant Avenue in Macon, Georgia. It will be Sunday the 15th from 1 to 3. You can go on the Real Maya Speller on Instagram, and you can find more details in honor of Nigel, who was taken senselessly at Fogo de Chao in Buckhead, and we all know that was a crime. So also, Jamarian Robinson, his trial is coming up to prosecute those officers. That will be coming up in federal court on December the 16th at 9 a.m. at the Richard B. Russell building this week as well. So keep them in prayer as well. And also, we will have a celebration for justice for Kendrick Johnson. That is going to be coming up too. And that will be January. So I'll give you guys more details about that next week. So I'll let Big Jeff close us out.
All right. And this is, we want to welcome our guests. And we're going to
give you guys final
Ms.
words.
Hill.
Miss Hill, you got something you want to say?
Well, we'd just like for anyone to come out to support us tomorrow at the press conference. And you don't have to be an individual that's going through defraud right now, but even if you know others and you just want to support the effort. And we really appreciate this time, guys. Thank you.
And I just wanted to say thank you so much for opening your doors and having us here to speak on this pressing issue. Thank you.
All right, and I want to say, this is Big Jeff for YSL Loaded, and we coming live from No Days Off Radio Productions, and we are speaking from the show that I, myself, Big Jeff, and Shanita are the host, and we come to you all with nothing but the truth.
And we out.
What's your name?